project. So the open source project that I picked was Matplotlib, and this is a specific issue that was listed as an easy issue and also a good first issue. So that's why I picked it because I thought it was going to be pretty easy, but there's a lot of code, so Matplotlib's a little confusing. But anyways, the contribution guidelines, they have a lot of resources, but I also really looked at this Talk as well guy, because if you look at his contribution history, he has almost 7,000 commits. And he also talks a lot on all the issues. Like here you can see like all of his resources on I guess the workflows on like how to contribute even if you're a beginner, and then he gives you advice on like ways you can like get code and stuff like that. So that's the way I've been following, or that's the guy I've essentially been following for this contribution project. So essentially what Matplotlib is it's a library that allows you to make graphs. So the original purpose was to kind of emulate MATLAB, because MATLAB was very popular a while ago. And so a lot of the code and commands to make these graphs are very similar. And you can have 2D graphs like this. So there's heat maps, there's like standard line graphs, and and you can now have graphs like this, which are 3D. And I've used uh most of my experiences with 2D graphs for like physics class, where you like see how charges like affect each other or something, or more recently I've been using them to visualize data for machine learning, specifically logistic regression and linear regression. So that's the project general project description. The contribution that I made was doing what this guy proposed in his proposed solution. This is also like a general guideline that they have for like issues, so that it was pretty easy to follow. But essentially, what this guy wanted to have done was change the names from like size inches to fig size and layout engine, or layout to layout engine, and then add like this getter and setter method. And it stemmed originally from this other issue, where this guy wasn't able to do this because this method here, because there was no setters for that, and he noticed the inconsistency in this figure class in general. So that's why this issue is a thing. And then here, if you look at my code, it's listed with like the new, that's the stuff I did. So this originally had like size inches, so I just changed it so that it would be fig size. And then also here's the sub plot pars. Um, I added the setter, which essentially just calls this constructor again, even though there was a constructor, but there was no setter for some reason. And also there's a getter, and uh, if you scroll up, there's a lot of uh, attributes for this figure class, and only like most of them were added recently, but some of them still haven't been added, like this one. So I just added them as this suggested, and the layout engine was already done, so I didn't really do that. Um, but yeah, those are my contributions, and I guess it turned out a lot more difficult than I was expecting, because like based on the title, you think, oh, it should just be adding like a simple like getter and setter method, but like just finding this file was like really annoying, because as you can see, there's like so many like this library is just massive, and it was hard navigating all the code. And then once you found the code, you had to go down to like line 2900 to like see where the actual class was, and then look through the class to like understand like what code was done. And there's like a lot of people contributing. Like I don't know Jody, I have no idea what Jody added, so I had to look through everything to make sure that uh what needed to be done was not already done, and stuff like that. So those were the major roadblocks. And I guess in the future, if I wanted to contribute to another open source project, I'd pick something I'm more familiar with. So I've used Matplotlib in the past, and I thought I was familiar with it, but I'm not familiar with it to this extent. Like I did not know like half of these things existed, or even like most of these things existing. So I'd pick something a little more simpler.